Alright, let's determine the number of solutions for the following equation and solve for x. So to determine the number of solutions, we can employ something called the discriminant method, which is b squared minus 4ac, right? And this actually comes from the quadratic formula. And in this case, if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, then we get two solutions, or two roots. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, we get one solution. And this also tells us that this is a perfect square trinomial. If b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, we get 0 solutions. Okay, so in this case, a here is 2, b here is -7, and c here is -13. Okay, so our b squared minus 4ac term here is basically -7 for b, right, squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, and c, which is -13. Okay, so if I crunch this out, we get 49 plus, what is that, 104, and that gives us something like 153. Okay, so definitely b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, right? So that tells us that there are two solutions, right? So there's two solutions here, but we need to determine what those solutions are. Now if I take a look at this, I wanted to factor this, and we want to factor this in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. You need two numbers that add up to b that multiply to ac. Well, our ac term here is -26. The only issue here is that two numbers that multiply -26 can literally be -13 and 2, -2 and 13, -26 and 1, and 26 and -1. So none of these would actually add up to -7. So this technically is not factorable. So if it's not factorable, what we could do here is solve using the quadratic equation. So this is the quadratic equation. X is equal to -b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so in this case, if I plug in the values, x is equal to -b, which is -7 plus minus b squared, which is -7 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is -13, over 2a, which is 2 times 2, and x here is equal to 7 plus minus -7 squared, which is 49, right? Actually, instead of crunching this out, we already kind of figured out the value. So this is where the b squared minus 4ac comes in. This is 153 over 4. Okay, now it's better if you leave your answer in this format, because we don't like to square root numbers that are rational, right? It's gonna make our answer less exact. So we can leave our answer like this, and it's perfectly fine. You can't really simplify this any further. And yeah, that's how you can solve for an equation that isn't factorable. You can just use the quadratic formula. So it's a pretty useful tool.